Hola, mi gente, and welcome to Cuéntame con Sonia Camacho. This short form podcast features the stories of Latinos from our community, from engineers, business owners, students, and so much more. Each episode will give you a quick boost of motivation and encouragement before starting your day. I'm your host, Sonia Camacho. Thank you for being here. Now let's get into today's episode. Welcome back to Cuéntame con Sonia Camacho. Today I have a very special guest. Her name is Itsel Oseguera. She is a Chicana content creator and business owner. You may recognize her from her trending sound, "We Need More Latina Creators." So, Itzel, thank you so much for being here. Why don't you go ahead and give us a quick bio about yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me, Sonia. So, my name is Itsel, like she said, and I was born in the United States in California. Um, and my parents are from Mexico. They are from Oaxaca. I'm the youngest sibling. I have an older brother and an older sister, and I am 21 years old.
Love that. So, I actually found you from TikTok, and I think we both share a strong passion for fashion. I always love saying that, it rhymes so well. But I would love to get into how you got into fashion. Was it your mom, or was it any other inspirations that really got you to where you are today with your love for fashion?
Yeah, well, my mom has always styled me so cute when I was younger. And then as I got into like middle school and high school, I honestly didn't really care much about fashion or styling. It wasn't until after that I just was tired of never feeling confident in my outfits. So I took it upon me to do research on personal style, how to identify it, and to learn about different style aesthetics, which one I fall into, and all of that. So that's kind of when it began, and it just kind of took off from there.
I love that. Ever since I was really young, I remember my mom also like dressing my sister and I up. And then in like middle school, I would wear like the trendy like fur vest or something to school, and people would make fun of me, but like at the end of the day I was like I've always just like loved fashion. So, how did you get into content creation? I know it's not an easy realm to break into, and as a business owner, is it your creative outlet? Like, just tell me your whole process of how you got into it.
Yeah, so I was pretty new to TikTok since it's a newer app. I was consuming it in the beginning. So I posted my first TikTok in October of 2021. So it's been a little over a year now. And how that started, I was just bored one day and I was like, you know what? I'm going to record my outfit. I did. And I didn't know anything about editing. I just pressed records and then posted it, which it's so funny to look back at now. And that video just kind of took off. I won't say it went viral, but it got like over 500,000 views, which for me was a lot. So that's how I started. And then from there, I just learned along the way.
I love that. And if you guys don't know, Itzel at this moment, which we're recording this on January 19th, she has around 50,000 followers. Is that right?
Yeah.
That's crazy. So a year of like hard work really goes to show you can do anything that you put your mind to. So I want to touch on the importance of representation. I mean, you're going, in my opinion, you're going viral right now with the sound of you saying that we need more Latina creators on the app. So what does representation mean to you? And what is some of the feedback that you've been getting from your content that you can share with us?
Yeah. So I would say for me, it's just important, especially with fashion. It's just so important to have a variety, it's important for it to be super diverse because if you think about it, women don't come in one size and they don't come in one height. We are all so different. So for me, it's important to be an inspiration to somebody, especially in fashion. It's important to get that inspiration from somebody that you can also relate to, just because I just feel like we lack a little bit of representation in terms of like the fashion space with Latinas.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I just think that it's important to have that inspiration, to have that creator that you can see yourself in and you can say, "Hey, like she looks so good in that. I can too," you know?
100% agree. I always say it, and honestly, I've said it in so many episodes now, but you cannot be what you cannot see. And I just think that I know you'll relate to this, but when you go onto Pinterest, I do this every night before bed. I go on Pinterest and I try and pick out an outfit to save my time in the morning. And it's never anyone that looks like me. And so I think subconsciously that does affect us because, of course, the girls, they're beautiful, they look great, but at the end of the day, I'm never seeing someone who looks exactly like me, and I'm, like, in these big platforms and spaces. So I think it's amazing what you and other creators are really doing for Latinas in this space, to really oh my gosh, I've said space a million times, but really make space for ourselves, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree. And I just think it's just inspiring. I just think to um just like you said, also like just somebody who looks like you, it goes a long way, and fashion isn't really about looking at the model. It's always looking about the clothing and what style like the style aesthetic they fall under, but it also is just it can mean a lot and when somebody looks like you. I just that's how I see it. But it's not about the model, but I think it goes a long way for people.
100%. Exactly. So, do you have any advice for other Latinas who are getting into content creation? I know I've been on a following spree like crazy. There's been so many creators that have been like in the smaller space and industry or whatever. And I just want to support everyone. And so, if you could say something to all of the Latinas out there who are trying to grow their page, what is some of the best advice that you wish you knew before you started?
I would say well, I have a lot of advice, but I would say to not get caught up in the beginning with, like, your engagement. So your views, your likes, your follower count, none of that really matters in the beginning because if you allow that since the numbers probably won't be so high, the probability of you going viral isn't big, but that should never be the goal. I think a lot of people wanna go viral in the beginning, and that should never be the goal because I did, and it wasn't the best, if I'm being completely honest. It attracts people that your content isn't meant for. So, I would say to not get caught up on the views and the likes because it could be discouraging in the beginning when you edit a beautiful video and it only gets, like, 100 views, and so you can get discouraged. So don't really focus too much on that. Focus on the quality of your content. I know that there's so much advice online right now talking about posting like 3 to 6 times a day, which realistically, that's not what life is really about. And a lot of people can't do that. A lot of people have full time jobs. So just focus on producing and posting quality content. I would also say to just believe in yourself because if you don't believe in yourself, nobody else will. And if you think that nobody will like your content, I can promise you there is at least one person out there that will.
I love that advice. And also, kind of back to what you first mentioned, all the views and everything, it's all relative because if you were to place 100 people in a room and they're all
Mhm.
watching you, that would be terrifying. But we see it on social media and we're like, oh, 100 views, like that's so
Yeah.
low. So I think it's really easy to get in your head about these things because there are creators getting millions of views per
Mhm.
video, but it should always be about your passion first. And I 100% agree with everything that you said. Yeah. And another piece of advice that I feel like I can resonate with you on that is I started my social media, to help students in STEM. And I always said, like, if my study tips reach one student and it helps them, pass a test or it helps them study at all, that's all that matters. Like, it'd be great to have a
Yeah.
thousand, but at the end of the day, it's like if you're leading with a passion, then the numbers won't really matter and the numbers will just come
Yes,
organically.
absolutely.
All right. Well, I guess to end off your episode, is there any other advice? It doesn't have to be specifically about content creation, but just being como like Latina, is there anything that you want to leave the listeners with?
Yeah. So, well, I think for content creators, Latina content creators, just start, just press record. If you don't know how to edit, don't worry. I didn't know either. I learned along the way. It's like a brand new job, but you learn along the way, and it's a journey, and you want to make sure to enjoy it. I think that we're always put on like this pressure, especially since a lot of us are like first generation, to just be successful. but you want to enjoy the journey, I think. And I would also say, let me see. Oh, last thing. You could cut that one out. For the last thing, I would just say to stay consistent with it. You cannot really expect to grow too much if you don't post often, which then that goes back to posting quality content. Don't feel pressured by these gurus that are telling you you have to do this, this, and this to achieve this many followers. Being in the creator space for a year now, I can tell you if you want to start closing on brand deals, follower counts don't matter. And find yourself a positive community online. I would say that should be your goal if you are trying to be successful in the space, is find a community of women, Latinas, if you would like it to be Latinas. Build that community, and I promise you, you will see success. Also, if you just stay consistent and true to who you are and always have a mission in the beginning. My mission was to help women find their style and to build their dream wardrobes. And that's still my mission to this day. Nothing has changed. And so I would say have a mission, listen to a bunch of podcasts, including this one, to learn about content creation, because it's not just posting a video and that's it. And you're expecting to grow so much. It's learning about content creation, about marketing, even if you're not interested in that. If I think it's important to know all things you can about content creation, and it's all for free online, so you don't really have to buy anything. And yeah, I would say that, and don't forget that if you ever feel like giving up, because my parents immigrated to this country, how I like to stay motivated, you could say, is I always look at a picture of my parents and I say, you know what? If I'm feeling lazy this day, I look at their picture and I say, I can't like give up now. Like I have to do something meaningful and something that is going to be just major in this world. If it's not for me, it's for my parents. And I know a lot of Latinas that are going to be listening to this can also relate to that. So maybe you can try something like that out to stay motivated and disciplined.
I absolutely love that. Yes, use your resources, use your motivation. That was such beautiful advice. That's all the time that we have today. Thank you so much, Itzel, for being here. I will have all of her socials linked on this episode, so you guys definitely go check her out and connect with her. I will see you guys in the next episode. Follow the podcast on all social platforms at Cuéntame con Sonia Camacho. Listen to us on Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube. Want to be featured in a future episode? Email cuéntame.sonia@gmail.com. Thank you to our equipment sponsor, Shure.